What exactly is this Warframe we all seem to have hundreds of copies of, but about just as many opinions? Today, we are looking at Oberon Reworked. Now I should start with a confession, because honestly before the Oberon Rework I couldn't care less about Oberon. The only thing I knew about Oberon honestly was that he could host a very good Warframe podcast and probably stream with loads of formats, but that was it. No, I'm sorry you fanboys, I'm sorry Xeno, I'm sorry Sherp or any other caster that likes to play with Oberon. I was not a big fanboy of Oberon. I knew who he was, I knew what kind of frame he was, but I picked him up at some point and never used him again. Which, it may have been a waste, but that's just the way it is. I wasn't just too interested in him. However, now with the rework, things have changed, and as you can see right now, we're running a sortie with him. So you may be wondering, how is this possible? How can Oberon go through such a big change that you're using him for a sortie right now, while everyone on the forums is claiming he's dead? Well, I'm gonna explain it to you with something I have never done before. Now here we are on the channels first, because I have never really recorded me clicking on this button on purpose, because I don't feel adding a mod builds gives any value to the channel. I mean, there are so many YouTubers giving so many great builds they thought long and hard about. I don't think mod builds have any much to add to this. However, with Oberon it is a case of hit and miss, and I've really enjoyed and come to like Oberon thanks to this mod, the Rage mod. Now the Rage mod is a mod that converts 40% of damage on health to energy. Now this is a mod I usually kinda use or not use. It's a side mod. If there's a spot free I may use it, if not I won't. However, with Oberon this is critical. If you want to build an Oberon I use right now, this is fantastic because it converts damage to health into energy. Now we got an ability called Renewal that converts energy into health. Not at the same rate as Rage. Its rate is higher, meaning that if you go out and get some health damage, you'll get more energy to keep your renewal up constantly. Now this means that you can get rid of the vitality mods, you can get rid of the durability mods. So I take out vitality and redirection and just put in a prime figure. Takes up only one mod slot, good enough. Don't bother with armor, don't bother at all. Cast Hallowed Grounds and you will have more than enough armor for that. So that means that you can spend the rest onto power efficiency, which is very handy for keeping up the renewal, and of course power strength and duration for your Hallowed Grounds and Reckoning. Now I've also put on a power drift for the extra strength and a corrosive protection, because if you're using energy siphon, you are a fucking idiot. You know, I can pop down an energy pizza and get energy, but I can't pop down an armor pizza and get minus 30% armor on enemies. So what's your argument now? So how does Oberon function at its best? Well, first you spawn Hallowed Grounds, so it's his second ability, and then you spawn Renewal. Doing that, if you get it on the Hallowed Grounds, at least, which I didn't right now, so I'm gonna have to turn it off and respawn it again, you will get an armor buff, which can go up right now to 400, but I've also seen it go up to 800 with Rob from a Giga Plays. Now this means that 400 per Oberon, because they do stack together, means that you can get a pretty high armor buff if you run with 4 Oberons at the same time. But this means that Oberon will have an enormous amount of numbers on his armor. Now do not underestimate armor. Armor is some of the best things to have on your Warframe, and it seems to be hugely underestimated. So running through this hijack as we go right now, we see that the shields are depleted, but that's not a problem, because going through this being hurt, there we go. Oh, we got killed. That wasn't the intent, but you saw that with the first slash we got 103 extra energy, and we still have the armor running, because yes, the armor is connected to the renewal, which means that if once my renewal dies, when my energy is depleted, my armor buff will go away. However, as you can see, because we are being damaged at the moment in the battle, no, not right now because the shields are still up, we will have the energy for more than enough to keep Oberon alive. And that means that we can start dealing damage. Now Oberon has been tried and tested as a nuke frame, and many people are not satisfied with him, but I'm sorry, if you think Oberon should be a nuke frame, you are pretty much wrong. Now as much as Oberon is different in the way that he survives, instead of staying away from them, he's actually going towards them and get damage so you can keep up your renewal, he is also different in the way that he deals damage. Which makes us look at the first and fourth ability, which are Smite and Reckoning. Now these are abilities designed to damage your enemies, and notice that I say damage and not kill, because this is very important. As you can see, using the ability Reckoning and Smite will both deal a significant amount of damage, which probably may kill some mobs, or seriously at the higher levels of your sword you will find some trouble killing them. However, if you use Smite, you will see that you get a debuff on the enemy, making him weaker and making him more prone for your next attack. Coming with that is also Reckoning, which if you drop down the enemies, they will be underground for a moment, allowing you to finish them off with your melee attack or with your following Smite. Oberon is all about the continuous gameplay. He's not there to finish them off with his abilities. No, he's there to deal damage and then make your enemy ready for your next move. So does this mean that Oberon has become the one and only go-to frame? Does this mean that the Rage Mod build has become the best build in the game? No, it hasn't. I'm now running a Swordie Survival, which is level 100 because it's the final mission and it's also an Maximus Stronghold, so I do not know. I honestly to God do not know how well this will hold out. I have no idea, but I hope for the sake of the video that we will. Right now I'm also in a squad with some other players, so I hope that they can carry me through it a bit, because Oberon will still be Oberon even after the rework. It's only that right now Oberon is still very viable to play with, if not more than before. The only drawbacks I would say, the only one big drawback actually that I would say, is the visual effects of his number 2, Hallowed Grounds. You can barely see it. Now I can see it a bit right now because we're in a dark area, but if you're on an ice tile set or if you're on any light tile set, you will not be able to see it at all. And trust me, you will really doubt if it's there. However, if you spawn Renewal, you will know for sure whether it's on or not because you will see that armor buff. Now the armor buff works very nice, and Renewal works like a champ. Now of course if your squad is hurt and you're close to them, it will take a little bit more energy, but then you need to make sure that if you're in a tricky situation like that, you get yourself hurt to get that energy back up. Now I do really want to watch out with those energy leeches because they're not all that good for my rage economy. You don't have that much of a big buff. In the best cases, you can spawn up to 3 times your 4th ability. But then again, you really need to watch your energy, because once the energy goes out, it's gonna be hard to get it back. You will have to let yourself get hurt without the nice Renewal to get yourself back up to health. So really do monitor your economy. Which basically brings me to my final conclusion of Oberon. Oberon is a skill Warframe we have all been waiting for. Honestly, there is so much tactics involved, and I am just going over this Rage Mob build. There are so many different mob builds you can go for to change them into whatever you want, but that's what it's Oberon for. Oberon is a Warframe which can go in many diverse ways, but is not meant as one solid Warframe for one task. And if you think that he is bad as a Nuka frame, try using him for something else. Try using him to be running around and think of this as maybe another sort of Iron Skin with a better ability than Rhino. So now that I'm down, I'd like to lay Oberon in your hands. What do you think about Oberon? Do you really still hate him because he doesn't work out as the Nuka frame you expect to? I mean, honestly, maybe you should rethink Oberon if that's the case. Because does Oberon really need to be a second Trinity with his Renewal? Or should you see him more as the Iron Skin of Rhino that will keep you alive, but at the same time will also help your teammates who need it in health? Also, my Rage build is very good at keeping you alive with Renewal, and it does its job brilliantly. Of course, I did down. However, I kept going until the end of the survival and cleared it with ease, even with a ton of energy Maximuses chasing my ass. However, it's not the best build, I will admit that, and there are so many great builds out there, so I'd love to see how you will build your Oberon. How are you playing around with him? What are the augments you're using? Because I haven't touched that, as you shall. I haven't even used the augments, and there are some very interesting augments for Oberon. So let me know what your thoughts are about Oberon, and until then, I'd like to see you next time.